Hey dorks, coming at you from the Lone Star State, a pop culture podcast about movies, TV, toys, and other dorky things, with a twist of real-life dad stuff too. So here he is, Lucky the Dork Dad. This is the Dork Dad Podcast.
What up, dorks? Is Lucky coming at you with another new episode of the Dork Dad Podcast. And as always, this episode is brought to you by 3leggedrabbit.com. That's the number 3leggedrabbit.com. Go check it out. We got a lot of cool stuff up there. We got a whole section dedicated to Zampotis art, so check that out. And remember, by using the code podcast, you can get 10% off all podcast gear, including Dork Dad Podcasts, RLU merchandise. So go check it out. So on this episode, got a very special guest by the name of Adam, which is a member of the RLU family. You can find him on the weekly show and his other show, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or something. I don't know what it's called. But Adam's a cool cat. He is the youngest member of the RLU, and I wanted to give him his time to shine, let him talk about himself, what he's got going on, and what he's into. So, hope you enjoy the show. Here he is, Adam, the Urban Spidey.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. What's up, man?
What's up? Been a while. It's been a while since we were on a recording session together.
Yeah. I've only been on the weekly a couple times, but I've been wanting to talk to you for a while. Give you your own time, I guess you could say. I know those guys like giving you a hard time, but whatever. It's all in fun.
Yep. I mean, I know. The only thing that takes it a little too far is when people outside of the podcast start doing it. Because I know the weekly guys. They don't mean that stuff, and it's more from a joking, friendly way. But if there's people outside of the podcast that I don't know that start saying stuff like that, and it's just I don't know you, so
yeah,
it doesn't really It doesn't work the
It's
same.
it's like if you're not black and you start using the N-word, you're like, hey, whoa, what's going on? You're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, kinda.
Hey, so I wanted to just kind of get to know you more, man. I know a little bit about you just from listening, but like I said, I thought I'd give you your time to shine. Let the
Yeah.
people know about you. I know sometimes you get overshadowed because those other dudes, they like to talk. So
I like to not talk, so it works out.
it's all good. But well, one thing I wanted to know, maybe some long time listeners know, but how did you even get on the weekly show, or how did you get started with a bunch of guys that are like twice your age?
God. That's actually a really good question because I don't really remember. I remember I was on the Podcasting Dead. I was on one episode of. Actually, no, I was on Fear the Podcasting Dead. And I don't watch Fear the Walking Dead, I don't watch Fear the Walking Dead, so I had to catch up and talk to Rich and Ernie about that. But then I think one day Rich just like asked me to fill in for someone on the weekly show, or he just wanted me to be a guest.
Uh-huh.
And then I think a couple weeks later, he was like, I like your voice on the cast, and we're going to use this to help you break out of your shell, because back then I really didn't. Yeah, back then I didn't talk that much at all, like even on my own podcasts. So yeah, I joined the weekly show because Rich liked my voice on there, and yeah.
he took you on as a project, right? He wanted to develop you.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, pretty much.
That's what they tell me at work. I got to develop my team members. Like, okay. But how did you even get on the podcasting Dead? Like, did they know you, or how did you all even?
Okay. So back when my first podcast, Go Figure, was thriving. That was like the glory days of Go Figure. We asked to join the RLU. We asked Rich, because I've been a long time listener of a lot of the shows on the RLU, mainly the Podcasting Dead, which is how I found the network. No, that's not how I found the network. I used to listen back when he had Two's Company, Three's a Podcast, and then it stopped, and I kind of forgot about it, but then I heard about this Podcasting Dead show, and I was like, oh yeah, I like The Walking Dead, and so I started listening to that, and anyways, a couple years later, I have my own podcast that's doing pretty well, and so Jaime, The Eternal Experience on Instagram, shout out to him, he's the one that really helped develop Go Figure, but Jaime and I both approached Rich on Instagram because I don't think I had him on I had him added on Facebook yet, and so I messaged him on the RLU Instagram page and was like, I have this podcast and I really want to join your podcasting network to help the show grow. Which unfortunately, after we joined the network, it kind of died.
Like,
but that is not that is not that's no one's fault at all except for people that were on Go Figure.
And things happen. It's we get different routines, or things happen in our life. We got to change up, and it just happens that way.
Or there's just people that are assholes.
Hey, that too.
But
now, right? You're thriving part of the
Oh yeah,
ROU family.
yeah.
I think you're a fan favorite, if you will.
Uh, I don't know about fan favorite. I think Andre's the fan favorite. I'm more of like the one character that you kind of like, but he's cool, but he's not my favorite character.
You ever seen Swingers?
No.
You had never seen Swingers?
That's the John
you got to put
Favreau
that on.
movie, right?
Yeah, you got to put that on your list.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is on my list. So I have this massive list of stuff I need to watch that's just taking so much time, which we're in quarantine now.
What?
Perfect time.
You're in quarantine?
Well, I'm in self-quarantine because we're about to be in quarantine. The coronavirus is in Baltimore, which is where I live. And so it's best not to go outside when there's a virus that spreads rapidly in a big city. So
yeah. So are you stay at home, or you live with your parents still?
Yeah, I live with my parents still.
I wasn't sure. I know you're still in college, right?
No. I think I talked about it a little bit on the episode of the weekly, but college really took a toll on my mental state. So
I got you.
I did like a year of college, and then a little bit I took some online classes afterwards, but it's just, I don't know, man. Especially like physically, like being away from pretty much everyone I know. I did have friends while I was away at college, because I was a 12-hour drive away from where I live.
Wow.
So yeah, it was kind of hard to like just leave everything, and I don't know if that's specifically what like took a toll, but then like a combination of that, and then just my depression at the time was really bad. So I was becoming my own worst enemy. I was like refusing to go to classes. It was bad.
Hey, I understand that completely. But well, that's good. You're at home with family. That's the most important thing. As my wife would say. That's why I was a little late. She's quick to remind me what's more important, family or podcasting. So let's tell us a little bit about yourself. How would you say you're into toy photography a bit? You're into music. I mean, what would you say defines you, or what, or maybe just tell us a little bit about you. What kind of stuff you do?
Right. I do a lot, which it's not a lot, but it's a lot. I don't know if anyone understands what I mean by that, but I play guitar a lot, and it's probably one of my favorite things to do. It's really time consuming, like learning just one song. But I love it because it challenges me in a way that I enjoy. I also
is it just a hobby, or like if it really got serious, would that be something you would want to pursue?
Yeah, I would definitely pursue some kind of career in music if I knew it all what I wanted to pursue as a career.
Of course, it's tough to break through, but
yeah,
if that was an option.
Yeah. I've considered like just playing guitar at like bars or whatever.
Have you ever like been part of a band, or maybe tell friends, hey, let's start a band? Or
Um, kind of. I mean, it was at the music school I went to. Um, we had jam sessions, workshop we called it, where we would just play a bunch of songs, and it would get us used to playing music with other people, like how to like react, like if we go on like one too long or whatever, or if one guitar messed up, someone's amp like stopped working, this other person would pick up the lead guitar, etc. Stuff like that. But so no, not really. I've never really been in a band, but I have performed and sang and played guitar a lot while I was at that music school.
is that something you'd recommend? Like I mentioned my son was interested in guitar, and a couple years ago we got him an acoustic guitar, and he kind of learned some things on his own just watching YouTube, and he kind of maybe lost interest a little bit. So we ended up he takes weekly lessons now. We got this guy that comes over the house, and he's learned a lot more. But would you recommend a school or lessons instead of just trying to learn on your own? Because guitar is kind of rough, I think, to learn on your own.
Man, I really don't know, because I've learned a lot from going to the music school, but I've also learned a lot from just like messing around on the guitar. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to it's really hard to answer that. That is a massive debate in like the guitar community, I guess. I've seen it like all over, like on Reddit and other like websites.
Right? Because
Just
there's like people that they just comes naturally, like they
yeah,
don't need any lessons,
people,
and they can just play. They hear the notes,
yeah,
and then they know how to
exactly. Do it. Like it took me a while to learn how to do that. And one of the reasons I'm glad I went to music school is because I learned how to do that from there. And I definitely did not know how to do that before. I remember this is a deep cut into my memory.
I
But
go for it.
I remember I went to Cozumel, Mexico, a long time ago, and I got this like it's like a cheap little guitar,
Like a ukulele.
It was pretty much a ukulele, but
You're like, hey, I can play this, right?
yeah,
That's where it got in your head.
I was just like messing around on it, like trying guitar chords on it, and of course there was only 4 strings, so it didn't really work. But I was like, hey, that kind of sounds like Here Comes the Sun, and I'm pretty sure it didn't sound anything like it. But I just remember that vividly now. Like as soon as you brought up, or as soon as I started talking about like how going to music school taught me how to hear notes and recognize where on the guitar they are.
That was your moment, though, right? Like, hey, I want to learn how to do this.
I've been wanting to play guitar since, I don't know, it was either 3 or 4 years old. I remember I got a cheap acoustic guitar for It was either for Christmas or for my birthday, and it was really cheap from what I remember. But I loved it. I had no clue how to play it. I had absolutely no clue how to play it. But I really wanted to play guitar after that. And so I went to that music school when I was 9. Yeah, either 9 or 8. I can't remember exactly. But then I just one of my favorite things about going to that music school is every year we would have a concert. And we the music school would I think they'd rent or just use the sorry the
no
the stage in some school. I think it changed a couple times. Yeah, it's changed I think 3 times. But I remember my first year I was there. I really wanted to sing Crazy Train because Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, and the main teacher was like, no, it's just your first year here. You only started a little bit ago. And I was like, I really want to do it. And it's like, okay, fine. We'll see how you do when we go upstairs and practice with the entire group that was doing workshop at that hour. So I sang it, and there's a video of me on YouTube. There's multiple videos of me on YouTube somewhere singing Crazy Train as a 9-year-old.
Good.
And it was like, as soon as my teacher heard it, he was like, well, I guess you're gonna sing it now. So that was my very first concert. I not only played guitar on stage in front of a bunch of people, but I also I sang my 9-year-old little heart out.
That's awesome.
It's a Crazy Train.
I didn't even ask how old you were when you started, but around 9 years old?
Yeah, around
8 or 9?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wish I could see that video.
If I find it, I'll send you a link, but I can't even find it. So if you really want to see it, you'll have to do some deep digging on YouTube.
So 9 years old. So you've been playing for about 5 years now then, right? No, I'm playing. So you've been playing a while now. That's
yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, 11 years.
I'm so jealous. Like, even when I see my son practicing here at the house, honestly, I really wanted to learn to play guitar back in the day. But if anybody knows me, I want to do a lot of things that I'm just not good at. I haven't bought I think it was around 1920. I brought just a cheap electric guitar, just trying to see if I can play. And that was kind of like around the beginning of YouTube, so there wasn't really anything out there to reference. I was just trying to learn on my own. There was like infomercials for guitar lessons, and I was like, no, I'll try to just figure it out. But yeah, I never did. I got fat fingers. That's just an excuse.
That makes it no. That does kind of make it. Short fat fingers makes it hard to play guitar because there's chords. Jazz. I despise jazz chords because the way you have to move your fingers and place them on the frets, it's too much for me right now. I'm sure with practice, like all things, with practice, I'll get better, but jazz chords are my arch nemesis, and I never want to play them.
Yeah. I say it's an excuse because the guy that teaches my son that comes over, he has very little hands. Like when I shake his hand, but he's badass. Like he can just play stuff. Like you name a song and he'll just start playing it. And it's like, whoa. Yeah.
That's that kind of reminds me of how I was in like college. I had a so one of my best friends that I met in college, I still talk to him even though he lives in South Carolina, which is where I went to college. I talked to him through Instagram, but how I met him was because he was so the way the dorms were set up, there was 2 dorms and then a bathroom between them, or two dorm rooms, right, and then a bathroom between them that connect them. And my suite mates, they were having like a little party, drinking, doing shots, playing music, and then I hear the bathroom door open from the other side, and then he kicks open my door, and he looks at me and my roommate dead in the eyes, and then he sees my guitar and he's like, "Oh, you play guitar? Do you actually play guitar? Or do you just have that?" And you could tell he was drunk already. So I was like, "Yeah, I play guitar," and he was like, "Dude, you gotta play guitar for us. Come over here. You gotta play guitar for us." And so they were just like throwing songs out there, and I was just playing them, and they were all like, "Oh my god!" I mean, it was probably more impressive because they were drunk. But
like the guys tell you, man, that playing guitar gets people wet, men and women. You know what I mean? With you playing guitar, you should be getting a lot of it. But yeah. What kind of I know you play a lot of rock, but is that your go-to? Is that your genre, I guess you would say?
Yeah, classic rock is my genre. A lot of Led Zeppelin.
Before you were born music.
yeah. A lot of before I was born music.
I think that's cool though, because kids nowadays, they just listen to pop stuff, mumble rap, and just garbage.
Yeah,
I'm glad you appreciate the classics.
There's a lot of rappers that I do like, and still have some kind of. A lot of today's music doesn't have meaning, and that's right. like it's all like, I got bitches and money and drugs and more bitches, and it's just like, that.
What is this song about?
And it's like, there's no real like point to that, but then there's music that has actual meaning. Like, I had a guest on my podcast, my current podcast, the Podcasting League of Super Acquaintances, Grant Sr. He does amazing music, and it actually means something. It's not just all drugs and money and bitches and more bitches. But yeah, I don't like too much of today's music.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's harder to get the real good music out there because, I don't know, all people want to hear is about bitches and money.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll talk about your podcast, the one you got going on now. What is that all about? Let the people know.
So my current podcast, the Podcasting League of I can't even say my own podcast. The Podcasting League of Super Acquaintances. The name and the intro is based on a SpongeBob episode, which is probably one of the best SpongeBob episodes ever. But we talk about anything. I mean, we've centered around a lot of Star Wars recently because all three of its members, that's me, Jaime, and Jacob, that's Deadpool_ACB on Instagram. We talk about whatever we want, and that's kind of what I wanted the show to be. Yeah, that is what I wanted the show to be.
With no topic, you just
we just talk about
whatever's hot this week.
We have like a basic structure. Like sometimes we go over toy news, and what we picked up, like figure wise, and sometimes just like what TV shows we've been watching, but primarily, at least recently, and we're only on like our 10th episode, so we talk a lot about Star Wars because I feel like right now is one of the best times to be a Star Wars fan because we just got The Mandalorian, which was so good. And we're currently getting Star Wars The Clone. Excuse me.
Yeah,
we're currently getting Star Wars The Clone Wars.
What are we on, episode 4 now?
Yeah, episode 4 was just this,
out of 10. Is it 10?
I think it's 12. I'm pretty sure it's 12. Which it makes me sad because
this is it.
Yeah. I know this is the end of the Clone Wars, which is something I probably love it too much because it's just a kid's show, but it has no right being as good as it is for just a kid's show. I really want to see how it's gonna lead up to Revenge of the Sith, right? I cannot wait, and I can't wait to cry during that scene because there's two episodes of the Clone Wars that always make me cry. And both of them are in season 5 of the Clone Wars. That was like right before it got canceled. And that's when, spoiler alert, if you really want to watch it, that's when Darth Maul kills Satine right in front of Obi-Wan. That one just makes me tear up. And then the second one, which is my absolute favorite story arc in all of Star Wars, when Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order, scene always destroys me.
That one hurt.
It hurts so much. And the thing is, when I first saw it, I didn't really appreciate it. I understood what was going on. I was just like maybe too young to understand because I was like 12 years old, 12, 13 years old. So I didn't like appreciate the gravity of the situation. But then like I found out like that was the very last episode of the Clone Wars we'd ever see. And then it was like, oh crap. And then the Lost Missions happens, and that gave me like a little bit of happiness. And then I was like, okay, now I'm just back to obsessing over the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that don't really appreciate or really know about the Clone Wars because, let's be honest, it started on Disney, right? And
it started on Cartoon Network.
but it was a kids show.
Yeah, it was. It started out
intended for kids, but then I think it just kind of evolved after people started really getting into it, and they're like, "Hey, this is really something."
Yeah, I just I remember 8 years old going to the movie theater and seeing the movie, which was supposed to be the first 4 episodes of season 1, and I was watching the movie and I did not like Ahsoka at all. I was
little brat.
Who is this? Yeah, who is this? Should I care about this? Who is she? And then like as the show went on, she becomes your favorite character.
Absolutely. And then, for those who ever seen Rebels, when she makes an appearance in Rebels, when she comes back, it's like, oh my God,
I have a lot of beef with Rebels.
Really?
Yeah, it's I don't know, because part of it is like the Clone Wars had to die for that show to be made, but
right.
Another part of it is like it's just like the quality, not like animation quality or anything, but just like the quality of the show overall is just like, I know it's a little bit unfair to compare them because Rebels was just starting, but it just seems like there wasn't enough effort put into it. It was like they were just making this show to get a paycheck, whereas the Clone Wars was like, you could feel that the people making it really, really cared about it. And of course, there are moments in Rebels that are really good. But a lot of it is overshadowed for me. A lot of it is overshadowed by like the really boring action sequences that have really static camera movements, and
I think I like Rebels just because of all the stuff that refers back to Clone Wars, like bringing in Ahsoka,
like the Darth Maul. Darth Maul stuff, that was so good. That was like one of my favorite parts of Rebels, especially the what was it called, Twin Suns, the episode where Maul and Obi-Wan finally.
I think so, yeah.
I think,
yes.
But the problem with that episode is that like we go through Ezra and Chopper just wandering through the desert doing nothing for 20 minutes, and then the final 2 minutes is just Maul and Obi-Wan, which for me that kind of sums up the show in general. For it, the way I see it is that sums up the show in general. There's like 90% kiddie stuff, which there is a lot of kiddie stuff in the Clone Wars, but the amazing storytelling overshadows the kiddie stuff. Like even in the Ahsoka arc that I love so much, there's a lot of kiddie stuff, and it is a show made for kids again. But when when you can tell it's made for kids, that's when it like gets too overpowering.
Yeah. Like, we got to give them one episode, right? Just, you got to throw them in there, sprinkle them in.
Yeah.
But yeah, another, like I said, when Rebels brings things back from Clone Wars, like one of my favorites too is when we see Old Man Rex, was it Rex, Wolf, and
Rex, Gregor, and Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite too.
I remember when I heard about it before I saw it, because I usually wait for like all of the way I watched Rebels was I waited for the season to be done, then I watched it in a couple sittings
to binge it.
But when I heard that Rex, Wolf, and Gregor were back, I had to watch that episode because those are characters. Well, at the very least, Rex is a character that I love, and I wanted to know like how did he not have the thing? Did he listen to Fives? I don't. The episode as a whole let me down, mainly because I got my hopes up a little bit too high, but there was a moment in there where the clone the theme for the clones played from the Clone Wars,
Mm.
and it felt like the Clone Wars because the clones were there, and I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that episode, but from what I remember, that one like little hint of the Clone Wars it made me really nostalgic.
Yeah, it gave me the feels back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So going back to this new season, episode 4. I don't know if you guys got into it on the weekly or your own show, but
we're about to, because the way we were going to do it on the weekly is instead of having, because I've already seen this arc before back when it was released as an unfinished story reel, and I kind of wish that I didn't, because spoiler alert, Echo comes back, who was previously thought dead,
right,
and is also one of my favorite clones. He comes back.
So episode 4, maybe not letting us know. I don't know if you know anything past this, but
No,
they're kind of on edge because they don't know if he's playing for the right team. You get kind of hints maybe he's not, but if I don't know if you know or not, but moving forward, do you think he's still legit? He's still on our side? Because at the end, he ends up with the Bad Batch. You think we're gonna see him anymore? Or you think they're gonna come back at all?
There were a couple unfinished, and the reason I know all this is because I'm completely obsessed with the Clone Wars. But there was test footage that I think was shown at Celebration one year. Probably the same year they released the two story arcs, the two unfinished story arcs, one of them being the Bad Batch, and one of them having to do with Anakin and Obi-Wan discovering someone, or Count Dooku and General Grievous want a giant kyber crystal. For who knows why they would want a giant kyber crystal, maybe to build some massive laser space station thing. But I honestly, I would have preferred if that story arc got adapted or finished. But I also understand why the Bad Batch story arc got adapted, because it's a perfect reintroduction to the Clone Wars. It covers pretty much everything you have to remember about the Clone Wars, except for Ahsoka, all the stuff that happened with Ahsoka. Anyways,
she was in the trailer, right? Am I wrong?
Yes, she was. She was in the trailer a lot.
So we're probably gonna see at least what happened to her before Rebels, right?
Yes, I have a feeling that the rest of the season is gonna be Ahsoka centered. But I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that stuff. Specifically, the Siege of Mandalore, which has been teased for so long. All through Rebels, when Ahsoka and Maul met, and also in the Ahsoka book. I cannot wait for that, and I cannot wait for the Order 66 scene, because that's definitely gonna happen in there. I'm pretty sure this is gonna go. This season of Clone Wars is gonna take place before and during, and hopefully a little bit after Revenge of the Sith.
So you mean like Order 66? You're not talking about what happened in Revenge of the Sith. You're maybe like the planning of Order 66?
No, I'm talking about the execution of Order 66.
Do you think it's gonna coincide with Revenge of the Sith, like happening at the same time?
Yeah, I think what I'm thinking is we're gonna get um, Order 66 happen right after the Siege of Mandalore.
And talking about that, you think, knowing what we know now about the Mandalorian, you think they're gonna throw in anything that would relate to the live action show?
They possibly could. It's the only reason I don't really think there will be too much is because, for one, the thing that
or maybe I'm speaking
Moff.
wrong because the Mandalorian isn't really from Mandalore, right?
Well, he was on Mandalore for a while, and then the Empire attacked Mandalore because they wouldn't join the Empire, which relates to Rebels. So I'm pretty sure the thing that they're referencing in The Mandalorian takes place after Rebels or during Rebels. But
I got you.
I would love to see that. That would be great. Possibly in the Rebels sequel, if it's good. I'll probably watch it, just like I watched Rebels, but I can't wait to, because they have to explore that somehow. Now that it's in the universe, they have to explore it. Like how, I'm pretty sure they're gonna explore it a little bit in The Mandalorian, like how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber, and what happened to the Mandalorians after the, I keep forgetting what they called it on The Mandalorian. It wasn't the Siege of Mandalore. It was Purge. Whenever. What was it? The
Purge.
Oh, it was the Purge. The Great. The Great Purge. Yeah, I can't wait for that to be explored. But back to Clone Wars. I'm so excited for mainly the Ahsoka stuff. And I think it wasn't ruined, but me watching that unfinished Bad Batch arc that they released back in 2015, it's sort of, I already knew it was going to happen in the story arc that just finished, the Bad Batch arc, but I don't know. I wasn't as invested in that story arc as I am going to be in the Ahsoka story arc.
Yeah, definitely. And like, she's one of my favorite characters. What are your thoughts, or do you think we'll see a live action version of Ahsoka? I mean, whether it be this Obi-Wan series, it's might or might not happen now. I don't know, or it's been put on hold, or the Cassian series. I don't think she'll have her own series, but I would really like to see some version of a live action Ahsoka in somewhere.
Yeah, I would really enjoy a live action Ahsoka. The only thing is, I have no clue who would play her. I know Rosario Dawson wants to play her, but
yeah,
I don't know if Rosario Dawson is a good choice for Ahsoka, because it'd have to be an older version of her, right? Like, yeah, it would have to be a much older version, because she is older in Rebels, but not by that much older. I really don't know, but I would like to see a live action Ahsoka. I have no clue where we'd get her. I would say the most possible way we would get a live action Ahsoka is in the Kenobi series, if that ever restarts production. But yeah, that's like one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
Because
I think I could see her in the Cassian one too. Maybe kind of like in the background, kind of ordering these different rebel missions and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Man, I don't know. That's a really like difficult thing to think about.
Yeah, because Castian, he's not much of a draw. I think there has to be something else, that's going to draw people to watch that.
Yeah, I don't know. The Cassian Andor series seems like it'll just be the Mandalorian series, but without the Mandalorians.
Yeah, like the rebel side of it, right? Just
Their
like little missions.
Yeah, the underbelly of the world, of the galaxy.
Yeah. After seeing that Bad Batch, I posted in the on Facebook that I hope we get figures of the Bad Batch, because those are some bad motherfuckers.
I would absolutely love if the Black Series, or I know this is like absolutely impossible, but if SH Figuarts made Clone Wars figures, oh my god. But yeah, I hope we at least get some Black Series of the Bad Batch. Okay, you're gonna make me go on another rant here.
Go ahead, man.
I was so angry that Hasbro didn't show any like Clone Wars Black Series at Toy Fair. That was like, that has to be the most disappointing thing I've ever seen from Toy Fair. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love The Empire Strikes Back, and I cannot wait to buy some of the 40th anniversary figures. But the Clone Wars is going on currently, and there was absolutely nothing, and there are rumors of the next regular wave of Black Series, and there's only 3 Clone Wars figures, and let's see if you can guess what they are, if you haven't already seen the rumors.
I haven't. Clone Wars figures?
Yeah, 3 Clone Wars figures.
Probably just more clones, right?
There's a regular clone trooper, a Camino clone trooper, which is the gray repaint of the shock trooper, or Coruscant shock trooper, and then Cad Bane, which
Cad Bane, I like Cad Bane.
Yeah, I love Cad Bane, and I would absolutely love a figure of him.
A 6-inch, yeah.
The only thing is, Cad Bane hasn't been in the Clone Wars or mentioned in any like Star Wars film or TV series since, I want to say, 2011. At the very least 2010.
Yeah, Cad Bane though, he was one of my favorites too. I love Cad Bane.
I love Cad Bane. I'm glad we're getting.
I was hoping. Yeah, I'm glad we're getting that, because I had the little 3 3/4 figure, and I was like, man, we need a bigger figure of this. And I got really excited, and I'm glad Ernie from Sarlacc Digest hooked me up on one of his trips to Disneyland. Got me that the pack, the exclusive Disneyland pack that has Hondo in it. So
I was thinking about that.
I have Hondo,
but I was so
I can care less
on money because
the other ones.
I bought 3 lightsabers when I was there. And so I was just like, I can't afford to get this 3-pack.
Yeah, so I'm glad Ernie got that for me. And man, we're planning a trip, me and my family, to go see my dad. My dad lives in California, Northern California, but we were going to plan a trip to Disneyland. So I hope by then all this Corona stuff is done with, and we'll be able to go, because kids been looking forward to going. We were going to go last year, but stuff happened. So we're definitely going this year, but hopefully we can get into Disneyland. And it's going to be like right before San Diego Comic-Con. So I don't know if I'll be there for that meetup, but I'm going to be there like the week before.
Great. One of the I've heard that the coronavirus doesn't like the heat. So hopefully once it gets around spring to summer-ish, like right around then, that's when it's gonna clear up. Hopefully, because like here where I live in San Antonio in Texas, we're a military city, and like they were actually bringing people here to quarantine them, like to the military bases, which is crazy. And then they're wondering, oh, why are we getting cases? Yeah, because you're bringing the people here. That's why. But yeah, it's been crazy. We've had like one of our big malls shut down for a few days because someone who supposedly had it was in the mall, and they like shut down the mall. And I don't know, it's just been crazy. I still don't understand the toilet paper thing. I don't understand it either. Like, what is toilet paper gonna do when you're sick? Like,
I don't know. Like they even me and my wife went this morning, because like the grocery stores too, they're like, oh, we're only gonna be open during certain hours now. And so we headed out there early this morning, and there was a line like a block long, just trying to get in the store. And when we were in the store, surprisingly, the line to go get to the toilet paper aisle was longer than the line for the water aisle. I was like, I don't understand.
Why?
This. I don't get it.
What is it that makes people need to get toilet paper when there's a pandemic? Like,
I don't know. It's crazy.
And it's not like it's not like this virus is making you just crap your guts out.
I know. I don't get it. People are stupid. I always say, like, a person can be smart, but people are stupid.
Oh yeah. Another thing I really don't understand is, how did it take a global pandemic for people to realize they need to wash their hands?
Exactly. It's like, y'all weren't washing your hands before?
Oh my gosh, dude. Like, if you don't have like running water, that's probably your only excuse for not washing your hands.
Yeah, I don't get
it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, people, the general population goes insane. And I mean, there is reason to be worried about it. Like, you shouldn't go insane about it, though.
Yeah, and what's crazy is, well, last week was spring break, and we just got, my kids were out of school. They were bored all week because we normally do something during spring break, but this year me and my wife didn't get off of work, so they've been at home all day, all week. And then now we find out, they told us Friday that the schools are going to be closed for an additional week because of all this. So now they're like, great, we're going to be stuck at home for another week. But yeah, we did do a couple things. We saw, me and my boys went to see the new My Hero movie. Have you had a chance to check that out yet?
I haven't caught up on My Hero. I'm still like, I think I'm like a couple episodes into season 2. I haven't watched
season 2
anything past that. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen. I'm all the way through 3. I haven't seen 4 yet, but I went with my boys to check out the movie, and it's, without spoiling anything, it's pretty good.
I heard it was really good. It's just I haven't had any desire to watch it. And the thing is, that's like when I have watched it, I loved it. Like, that's on my top 5 list of anime series that I've seen. And I just don't have a desire to watch it, which is weird, I know, but
yeah, like, that's my kids, my boys are really into anime, and that's like the only one I've actually watched, and I like it.
And I like I said before, I love it. It's just like I don't have any kind of desire to watch it, and it's really weird.
Yeah, it's hard to make up time sometimes.
Yeah,
gotta prioritize your watch lists.
you gotta prioritize Clone Wars above everything else.
Yeah. There's a bunch of things on my list that I want to watch or just haven't got around to it yet. Like, I barely finished Don't Fuck with Cats. Have you got into that yet?
Yeah, I watched a couple months ago now.
Yeah, see, I barely finished that right now. That's a pretty crazy show.
That's a really interesting, fucked up docu-series.
Because it's like every little while you're like, what the fuck? And then you're like,
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then what the fuck? Yeah,
my mom wanted to watch it because she thought it was about cats.
Yeah.
And so I told her that I watched it, and she was like, "You watched that without me?" And I wanted to watch it, and I was like, it's a docu-series about a serial killer that killed cats and then killed people. And she was like, "Oh, I don't want to watch it anymore."
I started telling my wife about it, and she was like, "Oh no, I don't want to watch that." I was like, "But it's really good. You get hooked into it."
Yeah, that series, it's messed up what the guy did.
Yeah. Anything else you watched recently?
What did I watch recently? I really, I a lot of the things I've been watching have been related to Star Wars. So,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't know.
Another one we watched, like I said, the kids wanted to get out. We went to go see Onward. Have you heard about that yet?
Yeah, I heard some good things about it.
It's really, really, really good. Pixar, all I have to say is, they did it again. They made me cry, but I'm a big crybaby anyways.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm more of a crybaby as I get older. I find out maybe I'm just more emotional, but yeah, that's a really good movie. I don't want to get into it and spoil anything, but it's very, very good. Did you see Sonic? I didn't see Sonic.
No, I didn't see Sonic. I've heard good things about Sonic too, which is really weird considering, I mean, like, obviously if you walk into a theater showing Sonic the Hedgehog and expect just like a master class in filmmaking, you're not going to get that because it's Sonic the Hedgehog. But I heard that for what it is, it's pretty good, which which means it broke the video game movie curse of all video game movies being bad.
Yeah. I really wish someone would reboot Super Mario Brothers, but because that movie was just terrible. But I just don't know how they would do it.
Yeah.
How'd you make a real story out of it?
I don't know. That's why it's so hard to adapt video games into movies, because video games are designed to be video games, not movies. Especially like the older video games where there's no like, it's not this really prolonged story. It's just like you gotta get here, and then you gotta go here, and you gotta get the thing, and you gotta go here.
Yeah. What would you say is the most successful video game movie? Only one comes to mind because there was multiple sequels. Resident Evil.
Yeah, I guess you could call that the most successful, but I think the best like adaptation, sort of, not even really an adaptation, but the best video game movie that I've seen is probably Tomb Raider, the one that just came out in 2017.
No, with the new girl?
Yeah, what's her name?
I don't think
Alicia Vikander. It's good. It's not like again, it's not like a masterclass in filmmaking. It's just it's a decent movie. Like if it was just on the TV, I'd probably watch it.
Yeah. And I've got high hopes for this new Mortal Kombat movie.
I'm not a Mortal Kombat fan. I've played, I think, Mortal Kombat 10.
Did you see the original movie?
Yes, I have.
I mean, it is cheesy at times, but when it came out, it was the shit when it came out. Even though it's kind of cheesy, but they do throw those references in, like fatality, or you know, they have to say that kind of stuff, which makes it cheesy. But like I said, at the time, it was really good, and I'm hoping this new movie. Hope this new movie is really good too.
I hope
sequel
that they
was not as good.
I hope that they find a way to, like, it's sort of like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. Make the cheesiness of it and campiness, and use it to make the movie better. So like, make it self-aware, because I feel like it's not really an excuse, but I don't know. It makes it so that you know that this movie isn't taking itself too seriously, and it knows what it is. It's a video game movie.
Yeah.
One thing I am really excited relating to like video games being adapted into movies or TV. The Last of Us is apparently being adapted into an HBO series.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And The Last of Us is I have played it, but not like all the way through. I know the story though. I've seen other people play it, and oh my god, that would probably be one of the best. It has the potential to be the best video game adaptation to the screen.
Oh yeah. And it's a series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes it even better.
I could see this like being the new Walking Dead, you know what I mean?
It like, really could.
It's because, like, I mean, speaking of Walking Dead, like I haven't even watched any of this season, which is sad because that was my jam. But I could really see this game. I played the game all the way through, and it's awesome. And if they can adapt that story, yeah, that would be great.
That would be so great.
If they do it right.
I can't even. Yeah, if they do it correctly, which it's HBO and they usually have more hits than misses. So I'm really like hoping that it's just superb. Like HBO, the Watchmen series that I absolutely love that series.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was just.
It made me wonder too. It's like as good as it was, it was a one and done.
Yeah.
Although I would like to see more. I mean, I wouldn't even mind if this was a one and done for this series as well.
Yeah, I am perfectly fine with a series just being a one and done. Like the two of the perfect examples of a series. Well, I guess 3 if you count The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead went on for long and then it got bad, but now it's pretty good. So I'm just going to use the 2 examples I had before. Dexter and Game of Thrones. Dexter went on so long that it was just by the, I think, 8th season it was. Yeah. It was just bad. Like,
I hate to say it, I've never seen Dexter.
I
never.
I'd recommend it. It's just don't watch past like season 6.
Like, there's so many things. Like, I've never seen Dexter. I've never seen Mad Men. There's just a lot of stuff.
I've never seen Mad Men.
And it made me think. I kind of want to do like a show, or maybe a segment on my show where it could be movies or shows. But I was thinking something called like Seen It, Not Seen It, where like we can get someone that's seen a particular show or movie that's and they're real familiar with it, and then get someone that's seen it maybe for the first time and just kind of have a conversation. I think that'd be an interesting.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
First episode.
Yeah.
Me and Rich talking about the Clone Wars.
Boom! There you go.
Except Rich will not watch the Clone Wars at all.
It's insane. Seen it, not seen it. Trademark that.
Yeah. That's a really good idea, though. But yeah, the Dexter is a good show up until like season 7. Then it starts to go downhill. The same with Game of Thrones, which is weird, because season 7's where Game of Thrones started to really decline.
Yeah.
But a lot of these shows, as long as they stay within like maybe 5 to 6 seasons, they're usually pretty good. What's a good example? Breaking Bad, perfect example. Yeah. Didn't go on for too long. It was what? I can't remember how many seasons it was. Crap. Why can't I remember?
5. I think 5. I think.
Yeah, 5. It had to be 5. Perfect example there. It was just long enough so that you could see just this change in a character throughout the entire series and have it end perfectly.
Yeah, it's still one of my favorites.
Just perfect series. Like as soon as those shows go on for just one season too long, it's dead. Like,
yeah.
I really started to dislike The Walking Dead after, I think it was after Carl died.
Yeah. think that's where a lot of
show,
people fell off.
Yeah, the show just went down in quality.
I mean, as much as I love that show, I mean, it was the same thing. You're like,
Yeah,
you come up to a big bad, you defeat him in some way, you're good for a little while, and you get another big bad. It's just that's just repeats over and over again. And that's really all you can do in that kind of a show or situation, you know.
well, after what was it, 3 seasons of them worrying about the whispers? No, sorry, not the whispers. The what was Negan's
the Saviors?
The Saviors, sorry. After 3 seasons of them having to worry about the Saviors, they finally ended that. Like, what's his name? Scott Gimple, the showrunner. He used to be the showrunner at that time. He handled everything so badly on that show, like especially in those 3 seasons. But finally, last season we moved on from the Saviors, and it was really good. And that's because there's a new showrunner, and she's doing so much differently than what like Scott Gimple was doing, and it is really good now. Well, no, I wouldn't say really good. I think it's good. It's gotten me invested back into the universe, because, like I said, I just dropped the show after Carl died because I don't know. Carl was supposed to be like the future of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's supposed to be his story.
Yeah, and Scott Gimple is just so stupid for killing that character off, man. Yeah.
You familiar, or do you know what happens at the end of the comics?
Rick. No. I know Rick dies.
Yeah.
What else?
I won't get into it then if you haven't read it, but you should read it.
I've seen the last couple panels before. I just can't remember right now. But currently, the Walking Dead series it's not like amazing. I still think it was either season 4 or season 5 when I really, really liked The Walking Dead. But this current season is pretty good, and it's got I think it was last season actually that got me reinvested into the characters and the universe as a whole, because they're doing interesting stuff now. They're just not constantly like, oh, we gotta obey the Saviors, but no, we can't obey the Saviors because that's letting them win, and we don't want the Saviors to win. Just wait, we'll get our moment, but let's go help the Saviors for now and do whatever. It's just, it was really bad.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't caught up the second half of the season yet. I don't even know how many episodes are out, but like I said, I don't know why either. That used to be my go-to, and I just haven't been motivated to watch them yet.
It's because they're on their 10th season now. That's a long, like, I feel like that's a little bit too long, and part of, actually a majority of the reason why that's going on is because season 2 was just like nothingness until the very end. Yeah. And then the past season 6, 7, and 8 were just also nothingness until the very end. So they're technically on like season 6, but it's season 10.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the zombies are like not even a factor anymore. I mean, a little bit with the whispers, but I mean,
Oh, it's
people used to
the
be so
whisper.
scared, right? They used to be
Yeah,
so scared, and now it's like, there's zombies, whatever.
the whispers have they're a pretty big threat, I would say. Like, especially in the episode that just premiered. It's this episode that I think just premiered a little over an hour ago. It's you can see how much of a threat they really are, especially when they use that big horde and they use the zombies to their advantage. Which I'm glad that they're starting to do more interesting stuff now, and they're also gonna start like introducing the Commonwealth now, and they're also gonna have the Rick movie. Is it movies or movie?
I heard multiple movies, but yeah, I'm interested to see where that's gonna go.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see that. But The Walking Dead is pretty decent now. So if you fell off of it like I did, it's probably a good time to catch up. Starting with like season 9 and the episode that Rick, quote unquote, dies.
Yeah, I just need to catch up with the second half of this season.
Yeah, it's I think like 3 episodes in, and it's been pretty decent. I think it's better than it's been for so long. I mean, obviously, but it's this, especially the second half of season 10 it's pretty good.
Yeah. Hey Adam, I'm getting the flashing light from the wifey.
Okay.
But before we go, is there anything else you want to promote? Anything else you got going on? Maybe tell people where to find you.
Like I said before, I mentioned my podcast, the Podcasting League of Super Acquaintances. You can find that on the Raw Live and Unedited Podcasting Network. You can also find me on the Raw Live and Unedited weekly show, which is where we talk about all the news that Dario never has. But it's that is like, man, the weekly show has really helped me in like podcasting, and also Rich is back on the weekly show. So,
oh really?
Yeah, you didn't hear it from me though, even though it'll probably be up by the time that this episode's up. But yeah, Rich finally came back, and the episode we just recorded was so much fun. So go listen to that, and you can also find me on Instagram at Urban_Spidey. And also on the RLU Podcast and Bullshit Facebook group.
There you go. All right. Hey, Adam, I really appreciate you spending some time with me. Like I said, I really wanted to give you time to talk about stuff. I know you get overshadowed sometimes on the weekly show, but anytime you want to talk about stuff, let me know. We'll do something together. Maybe we'll do a seen it, not seen it together.
Hopefully. Thank you for having me on here. I really like being on here. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, and I want to let people know a little bit more about you and where you come from. So again, thanks a lot.
Sorry, I just talked about the Clone Wars the whole time.
No, man. Like my new format, like I said, my old format was kind of like the weekly show, but just by myself. I would kind of talk about stuff going on, and I just wanted to do something different. Like I said, you guys are taking care of that. I just want to get people on here now and just kind of talk about whatever. And it's kind of interesting, me and you talking, because let's be honest, I'm old enough to be your dad, and but yet we still find things in common to talk about, things we like in common and stuff. So that's awesome. So yeah, again, I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with me.
And again, thank you for having me on here.
All right, Adam. Well, until next time, or until we record again, I'll see you later.
See ya.
You've been listening to the Dork Dad Podcast. Please remember to follow, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Until next time, keep it dorky.